What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to VRS Valorant, the winter split here. We're in week number 2, and we got a great matchup for you guys. So, today we have V3, which we saw last week, and they took that in 2-0 fashion against Mod, and then they're going up against UST Permafrost, who lost 2-0 to Spider. So we have a team that's 1-0 and a team that is 0-1 going up against each other head to head, both with their eyes on different types of things. From V3, they want to get off to that 2-0 start, putting themselves right at the top of their group standings. And from UST Permafrost, they just want to, get back to 1-1, put themselves right in the middle, and continue to be competitive throughout this split. I'm joined again by Chrissy and JoJo. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
We're chilling. We're chilling.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into this week 2 of VRS and a repeat team too. Really excited to see them continue.
Yeah, they looked really strong last week. And just talking about the standings again, Spider and V3 are the two teams in Group A that are 1-0. And then in Group B, we actually have Orion, our only returning team from last split, has that 2-0 record. They had a great showing in both of their two matchups so far in week 1 and 2. And it's great to see that after last split, they come back and they are even stronger. So it's going to be a great storyline just to watch them throughout the entire split and see how we go. All right, so we saw a lot of the lineups and agent selects that we saw from V3 last week. Do you think they're going to stick with the same type of thing? We know that this group has been together for a while, playing Overwatch in the past, and a bunch of other stuff as well leading up to this moment. So, are they going to stick together? They have that camaraderie, they have the chemistry already going. You think they might switch it up here against Permafrost to make sure that nobody can guess what they're going to do?
I mean, their comp, if I remember correctly, seems like the usual type of comp you would normally run on every single map. Minus maybe if there's a map that requires Viper. I'm pretty sure they played the Astra. So I'm not expecting anything super different. I would like to see something new though. I really want to see something we don't usually see in most agent comps. Maybe, the Breach, the KO, maybe the Omen or the Brim. Anything that's like out of the usual meta norm.
You have to think it has been a week since our previous matchup, and a week doesn't really seem like a lot of time. But if these teams are really dedicating an hour, 2 hours a day to mastering each of these 7 maps, that can really change a lot in a week. So they might have spent their time working on different agent comps to implement that surprise factor in this matchup today, but they also may have tried to use their original comps and maybe create some more plays. It already seemed last week that they were very coordinated with each other, but maybe having a few more plays in their back pocket and using that as a surprise instead.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, a week's a long time. And if you're a USD Permafrost, V3 was broadcasted last week. So you have that VOD that you can review and actually pick up information on how your opponents like to play. So if I'm V3, I'm thinking I want to stick to the same type of strategy because it worked. Why fix what isn't broken? But you got to keep in the back of your mind that USD could have practiced exactly what you did. So you got to be able to be versatile and switch it up. Now, going into our map picks for today, our first map pick is going to be Ascent, a map I personally love, a map that we got to see last time as well. V3 will be starting off on attack there. Then our second map will be picked by V3, and that'll be Icebox. So we didn't see that last week, or I believe we did see that last week. Sorry, my mistake. That was our first map last week, and it was a lot of fun. We saw V3 get off to a really early start, but this time they're going to start off on the defending side, not that attacker heavy that we saw them take that huge advantage on early on. UST will be getting on attack. And then our last pick tonight will be Split, and V3 has picked to start on the attacker side. So 3 good maps, a lot of difference in these maps. You have that mid on all 3, but then when you go to Split on that third map, there's a lot more that can go wrong from the attacker side. So Jojo and Chrissy, what are you guys looking to see from these teams here tonight?
Definitely a Sage. I think for Split specifically, unless you really know worked in practice, like Jojo mentioned, Sage is really definitely needed on split. She's definitely part of that meta because the wall can do so much. Granted, it might get destroyed every round, but it does still stall the attackers and make them think twice before running it down. So I hope to see that when we go to split. Jojo, what about you?
I think it's really interesting that we see V3 picking attack when they are able to. Typically, we do see a pick of defense because that is the side that most teams are more comfortable with. They want to get as many rounds as possible early on, so their weaker half they're not feeling the pressure too much. But here, I mean, last week we saw V3 was very strong on attack and they were ready to aggress onto these sites. So I'm really looking to see how their aggression has improved, maybe trying to get first bloods more often, using more coordinated attacks, and even more fakes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's something I'm really am excited to see. Just to see, they are going to make some changes, like we said earlier, and how they are able to evolve and really push forward to the next step because they're a team I really think could go deep in this split here. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Now, we didn't get the graphic up today, but we are going to start doing something new in the coming weeks that are predictions. So we don't really have too much to go off of for permafrost, the UST permafrost side. So I'm gonna go if I'm gonna give a prediction tonight. I'm gonna say V3 is my pick. What about you guys?
You go first, Jojo.
I mean, based solely on stats, it's really hard to say that V3 is not going to bring their A game. They went 2-0 last week, very, very strong attack side and overall gameplay. And we already saw that UST did lose 2-0. So, based solely on stats, I'm really thinking it's going to go to V3, but maybe UST is going to surprise us here, and Spider is actually the ones to beat in this division.
Mm-hmm. Crazy?
I
Okay.
I don't know. I just want to see a good game, so I'm not gonna root for one more than the other. I might subconsciously cheer for the team that's losing, but I'm just neutral.
Yeah,
The underdog.
Yeah.
For me, based on stats, like Joe just said, I think V3 does have a bit of an advantage here. But I'm also a sucker for a good logo, and UST Permafrost might have one of the cleanest logos I have ever seen. So I got to give them some credit where credit's due, and I just do have one slight change here. So we are gonna actually have, I believe, V3 start on defenders to start us off. So they're not going to be on the attacker side. They were an attack heavy team last week, but this week we'll see what they can do on defender, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good to me. I cannot wait to get back into the game. Well, not get back into the game, start the game, but we are starting on Ascent. And I think we had Ascent last week. So I'm pretty sure for agent wise, I'm expecting to see the same old good old fashioned Astra, Killjoy, Sova pick. And
Mm-hmm.
with those three picks usually in place, what do you guys are hoping for in terms of the last two players? Or do you think some teams, B3 or UST, is going to switch something?
So one thing I'm really hoping to see this week is Phoenix, right? He's been in the game since beta, and it really has lost the love of the community, right? In beta and in Act 1, he was really one of the most popular agents to go for. And then he kind of just died off a bit, which is something I was really sad to see because I was somebody who loved Phoenix. So I'd love to see him get some love in the VRS Valorant here. What about you, Jojo?
I'm gonna really strongly disagree with you there. I think Phoenix at this point is a really weak duelist, probably just one step above the Yoru. So that standard Jet Reyna pick, I'm really leaning into that more. That's probably what these players are more comfortable with. And sometimes it's just about picking a comfortable pick to really make it happen on a map.
Mm-hmm,
I
for sure.
think I think Phoenix, if you know how to use him, if you're a really great base, he's good. But it's also the same with Yoru as well. Like I think that they're the same boat where if you know how to use him properly and you work on it, it's definitely not a bad pick. But then I don't there's still stuff lacking with their utilities and the way they're played. I really hope he gets a buff soon. I think he's the only agent that we've had, maybe next to Sova, I think, that hasn't really been touched, like not hasn't been nerfed or buffed since beta actually, or since the
Yeah,
first episode.
yeah, for sure. And we've seen a lot of picks, and I've seen on Twitter the last few days too. The community wants Phoenix to get a bit of a rework, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody who everybody has a special place in their heart for. So when we get to that point, I am excited to see what they do because again, I love Phoenix. I love his versatility and how he can really change the game. His ultimate quite literally gives him a second life. So he is somebody who I feel like could be utilized and just lost the love. But again, if he does get a buff, he might jump right back up there to the top when it comes to, what agents are picked and competitive as well as pro play in these events as well.
I agree. I agree. I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong. I think our teams are ready. They're itching to play. So yeah, I can't wait. I hope, and I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. The audience, I know you're ready for it too. Am I right, guys? Am I right, guys?
All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna get in there any second, right? Let's go.
Yeah.
We want some gameplay here. We need to bring you guys the best
I got scared
gameplay.
for a second.
Oh, and it looks like we're heading in.